to Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories. Coffee with Cannon. I took a little short little hiatus from doing shows. Folks, I had initially planned to do a show today at 1 p.m. Streaming. However, where I do the show from was having construction and it was so loud, there was jackhammers. I had to change the show time from 1 p.m. today to 7 p.m. this evening. That's Eastern Standard Time. So I hope you guys understand, and hope you join me at 7 p.m. And I noticed I changed it on the stream, but for some reason it didn't get changed on YouTube on my phone, and I just noticed it. But so here's the announcement. So how's everyone doing? Where is everybody? I'm looking for all my fans, my subscribers. Beautiful day again today. I saw folks in the chat as I initially came on, but where are you guys? Gayla, greetings from Sacramento. Hello. Ali Books. Hello. Sergeant George Ishag, always around. Scotty Wagner, good to see you, buddy. I'm understanding that New York is cold as all hell today. Not rubbing it in, but just I'm hearing it's nasty, nasty cold, and that's why I'm here. Stars above, yeah, I missed you guys too. Northwest Indiana, Abigail Rose, good to see you. Jules L. from Utah, Michelle, hello. Kokomo, Indiana, hello from North Florida, Aubrey. And Aubrey was her name. There was a tune by Bread. Remember that band, Bread? They pronounced it Aubrey, though. It was a beautiful, beautiful song. I can't remember all the words. 23 and windy in New York. Wow. Richard Resendez, I'm doing well, buddy. Thank you for asking. Every morning I got my routine. I get up, I have my coffee, I have some pineapple, and then I take a phone call from Duty Ron usually, and then I go to the gym. I work out for an hour to an hour and a half, and then I go about my day. Bill at the beach, Nikki Bella, hello. Hey Bill, hope you're feeling better. Feeling good. Houston, Texas, wow. Nikki Bella, Angelo McKenzie, hello from Mississippi. We got 59 in the chat, 18 with the thumbs up, hello from Georgia. Georgia, Georgia, the whole day through. Just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. Autistic Driver 42, good to see you. Lieutenant Pete is in the house. It's cold in Columbia, Missouri. It's cold everywhere. Sergeant George Ishag, Lorraine Lawrence, 7 degrees upstate New York. You know what we're going to cover tonight, I don't know if anyone watched Ashley Banfield. She apparently has some insiders in regards to the Idaho quadruple case, and they're giving her information. And you know, I never really liked that when cops, detectives would give insider information to the press. I don't think it's really right, but it certainly doesn't help the case. I don't know what their point is in doing that. They're trying to get in tight with the press. I don't know. It's but apparently there was some information they gave that conflicted with what the coroner said in regards to the wounds. And it was just Miss Kernodle, who was with Ethan, and that it's sort of the details. We're going to get into it. We'll play some of Banfield's show from last night, but you know, all of those horrific details are going to come out at the trial, and it's like that's when it's meant to come out, when the police and the prosecutor presents it the way they want to present it, not when the media presents it the way they want to present it. And I have a little bit of a problem with that, but you know, people will say, hey, you're doing the same thing. Well, yeah, we're sort of covering this story and spreading the news, and it's a horrible, horrible story. You know, it's what can you say, right? Pillow talk, ignoring gag order. Yeah, that's for sure. You know, but the gag order doesn't apply to everybody. But you know, if these are detectives or cops or investigators, why are they sharing confidential information? You know, it's not right. I don't think it's right. Mary Michael, 27 in South Jersey, heading down, down, down. I heard it's supposed to be like 1 degree tomorrow in New York. And I don't miss that. I think from now on, every winter I'm going to spend in Florida if I can, you know. Spend the winter in Florida. It's beautiful here. It's beautiful, you know. Chris Morley, I'm hearing seagulls in the background there, Sergeant Cannon. Very possible. There's all kinds of bird life around here. My only wish, I always hope when I come here that for some reason this park gets an unbelievable Wi-Fi signal, like five bars. But my only real big concern is the wind. If the wind gets crazy, then it's like, yeah, Martha Miner, you're right. There's no roosters like in my yard. There's summer in my yard in Westchester. We hear those chickens and those roosters cock-a-doodle-doing, right? Cock-a-doodle-doo. That's for sure. So has anyone been paying attention to the Alec Murdaugh case? I mean, it's just the amount of evidence they have against him is just, it's unbelievable, you know. And if you're a defense attorney, what do you really do? What are you using to represent him? Who believes that he doesn't know that the defense attorney even doesn't know that his client's guilty? You know, it's like when they showed or they played that video. Welcome to Backyard Coffee, Lou Lemoracco. Thank you for joining, Lou. Join our YouTube family. Always welcome new folks joining our YouTube family. Our friends, our families, our subscribers, that's it. Chris Morley wants some eggs, $6 to $7 a dozen. Isn't that crazy? The whole thing, like with how much inflation has gone up and the stock market down and food prices, my God. You talk about eggs, how about meat? You go to buy a steak or something and you're like, it's crazy. Cheryl Wright, the Snapchat video proved he was there. So he's on the scene, and I don't know exactly how close they have the time of the murders, but he's there, and his cell phone puts him there. Like, what's his defense? I didn't do it. I watched the guy that did it. I mean, it's crazy, you know? Yeah, it really is crazy. We covered that case early on. I guess it was 15, 16 months ago when it first happened. And right then we said day one, he killed his wife and his son. He did it, you know? I mean, obviously it's easy for us to say. We weren't there. We're not the ones collecting the evidence or testifying, but Moose Girl 108 or Moose Girl 108, proven by the Snapchat video. Absolutely. And then, you know, they go dig a little further. And then you see the guy who was testifying, who showed that Alec Murdaugh stole $192,000. And he had been stealing from his family and his law firm for years, for like 8 or 10 years. And the judge will decide whether or not they can use any of that information, because that could be prejudicial. The fact that the murderer stole millions of dollars, that could prejudice you against him. I think, as they're saying, that the judge may allow everything, but then does that leave it open for appeal? Who knows? I mean, the system, it's meant to be super, super fair. Chris Morley, the love of money is the root of all evil. Yep. Money, get away, get a good job with more pay, and you're okay. Pink Floyd. I can't sing that whole song. I don't remember it. Stealing from your law firm, is that frowned upon? Coach, very good. Quite a nice little pun there. Yeah, I used to say lawyer and liar sounds the same. That's why, you know, it's synonymous, but people didn't like me for saying that, especially lawyers, you know. But, I mean, when you look into that family, too, the power structure, how it goes back like 100 years, this great-great-grandfather, great-grandfather ran the district attorney's office, and it was passed down through the ages. And then the Murdaugh family started their own law firm in that area. They're like the most powerful law firm. You see people in that area that live there, and they're asked about the Murdaughs. They're like, I don't want to say anything. So they fear the power of that family, you know. Okie dokie, old Southern Merc. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. Okie dokie, I like that. So again, tonight at my friend Phil Grimaldi he just did a little interview on the news with Tony Aiello. So I just saw him pop up on the screen and thanked me. But he's good, Phil. I like, and it gives he's a different look of what most people may think detectives are, but detectives are from all different, different ethnic groups, racial groups, and, there's no specific, that's Central Casting, New York City detective. Although they say that. People used to say that about me. Oh, you're like a stereotype of what a cop looks like. And I was like, well, sorry. I can't help it. This is how I was born, Okie dokie. 11, what do we got? 109 in the chat, 59 with the thumbs up. We need some more folks from Great Britain. What do we got? Make you, I don't want to, that title. He said Phil's from his neighborhood. Chris Morley, Mystique, greetings. So again, tonight we're going to talk about some new information in the Idaho quadruple case relative to the attack, relative to the what will come out eventually, the autopsy report. Although none of that stuff has come out yet, nor has the toxicology. So we'll talk about that tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As I said, Gayla Dennison, most of my retired bros grew their hair long. Well, they want to let their hair down after they retire. When you're a cop, you got to keep your hair short. You can't have certain facial hair. Although now it seems like the standards have been greatly relaxed and people are, longer hair, beards, mustaches. It's a little different. A lot of tattoos. Used to be the police departments, if you had tats all over your arms, they wanted you to cover them up. You see people, males and females, with tats all over them these days, right? Moose Girl 08, it's 8 here. Wow. Oh, this driver military too. Yeah, the military, the military Marines are famous for having tons of tattoos, right? They always have to have that bulldog with the chain around his neck with the spikes. That's like the Marine Corps. Pauline Buckles, hello. Good to see you. So you guys liking the scenery here today? It's really beautiful, isn't it? Quiet and just a nice surroundings. And I always love the fact that oh, someone's watching my back. They're seeing if there's any crimes or catastrophes going on behind me. All those years I had to have a beard later. Scotty Wagner. Chris Morley, looking at the umbrella and the palm tree. That's the palm tree is like the signal of the tropical weather. A beautiful day, beautiful palm trees. 94 in the chat, 67 with the thumbs up. So guys, today, I had to cancel the show. I was supposed to do streaming today at 1 o'clock because I'm having a lot of construction and they're using power tools that just is, it's not good, put it that way. It's so noisy, I couldn't do the show, so I'll have to do it later on tonight. It'll be a great show tonight, but yup, Bill, scenery looks great, enjoy. Lieutenant Pete, great to see you, buddy. But as you can see, my nose is all red. I always forget, like when I do put suntan lotion and I put it on my arms, and I always forget to put it on my face. Thus the red face. It's not from drinking scotch. I never did that. I don't do that, and I never did that. But yeah, I get the sun all over my face and my light Irish skin. Cheryl, I'll be listening. Thank you, Cheryl. Yeah, I always, any of you guys forget to put it on your face? I guess you just don't want it on your face. You're rubbing it on your face. But I hear a boat coming by. Where's all my British people? Where's all the Great Britain people? I'm really waiting to see you guys show up. South Africa, where are you guys? It's it's just an awesome day. Anyway, yeah, so we're going to talk this evening. Mickey Man Hudbill, come on, India, get some curry with Cannon. Curry with Cannon. Where is that lady from India that said she was going to join and have the whole country join? I'm waiting on those million people. They haven't showed up yet, but it'll happen soon. I'm sure we'll get a lot of people from India. Coach, they must be like the Clintons in that area. So, yeah, so tonight we're going to cover that, you know, the information about, you know, News Nation was still harping on the attorneys switching from the mother of, was it Kernodle, or was it, and then switching to Brian Kohberger. So they're still covering that like it's this big scandal. I don't think people are viewing it that way, you know, but the information they put out last night about the crime scene, that's new information. And it's not verified information that we got from the police department or from anyone who's a sworn law, because there's a gag order, right? Xana, right? Xana Kernodle, Run the World. Thank you. Thank you. I usually have my notes with me. I'm sitting out here in the park. I didn't bring my notes. Xana Kernodle, right? Her mother, Kara Kernodle, who apparently had just been, has been arrested for trespassing. And then she has a warrant, and they were going to extradite her. So, like, people all, look, granted, she lost her daughter in this horrific attack. However, from what I'm understanding, she hasn't seen her daughter or had any contact with her since she was 3 years old. So, Pauline Buckles, her mother fell on hard times, sympathy from Pauline. It's more than hard times. Her mother's got, and I'm not saying others in this world can't, and I'm unsympathetic to people with deep-seated drug addiction, but it's clear that that's the mother's problem. She's got a deep-seated drug issues, you know. And again, we all know someone, we all maybe have someone in our families that have that problem, so I'm not unsympathetic to it. But I think that, you know, when you talk about this case, the murder of 4 21-year-olds takes precedent over that. And Kara Kernodle, they were calling her another different last name. She can get another attorney more easily than they can appoint one for Brian Kohberger, which is a death penalty case. Again, I had said addiction, autistic driver, addiction can destroy a person, absolutely. And we've all seen addiction in our lives through family members, friends. No one's immune to it. You know, it's just a horrific thing. But yeah, it's unfortunate. Pauline Buckles, Kokomo, Indiana, stars above, yes. 108 in the chat, 81 with the thumbs up, guys. Thank you so much, everyone that's came by today. There was not a lot of notice. I just jumped on the air. Let me see if I can go and talk to my friends, fans, and subscribers here. And here you are. Larry Jensen, hello from Big Bear Lake, California. Wow, it sounds impressive. Is it warm there or cold there? Pamela Haunter, happy from Winston-Salem. Winston-Salem, the home of Wake Forest, right? It's crazy. So, yeah, Winston-Salem. But isn't that also the home of Philip Morris, the tobacco company? I wonder what they do these days when it's been so proven that tobacco causes all kinds of diseases. You know, how do they keep pushing tobacco, right? Gayla Dennison, I love Big Bear Lake, California. Guys, R.J. Reynolds, Pamela Hunter, right. So how do they keep pushing tobacco when there's no doubt that it causes cancer and heart disease and all kinds of other stuff, but yet the profit margin keeps pushing it out there, right? No doubt. So, yeah, so tonight, 7 o'clock, Mike Geary's going to be on with me. I was planning also having Phil, but Phil has another engagement called The Job. So he's not going to be able to make it tonight. But I hope you tune in tonight. Cheryl, and it smells. What's gotta go back to work, see you tonight. Cool here about, hello from Ponder, Texas. Wow. Good to see Bills at 7 below here in the Twin Cities. Wow. I don't like the cold weather, man. I'm not, you know, I always, when you see these people that dive into these ice, you ever see that they do that for treatment? My son used to do it. Wim Hofing, it was called. You do this heavy breathing and then you jump into ice cold water. My son used to do that. He was doing it for years. Mark DeMeo was doing it for a while. And I was like, how can you do that? It's supposed to be really therapeutic for you to jump into ice cold water and try to stay in there for a minute or 2 minutes every day. It's supposed to really do amazing things for your system, but I'll pass. I'll pass on that one. Anyone else? Anyone jumping into ice cold baths? No, I didn't think so. Well, I just had this fall out of the tree. I'm glad it's not a coconut. I would have got it right in the head. But Pamela Hunter, none of the police off the cuff real crime stories, coffee with Cannon, backyard beverage, bitching with Bill. No one smokes cigarettes, right? That's great. I hope you don't, because it's one of the most unhealthy things you can do, right? Your Lieutenant Pete's not going to jump into an ice cold bucket of water or a whirlpool filled with ice cold water. You know, I don't know how people do it, but supposedly it's really therapeutic for you and it helps a great deal. But stars above, 118 in the chat, 95 with the thumbs up. Guys, if you're listening to this show and you're not subscribed, please go on our YouTube, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell. If you want to help us financially, we have a Patreon with 3 different levels, and we also have a YouTube channel membership, so you can see all the folks with the green font. They're part of our YouTube family. We'd appreciate if you signed up and helped us out and joined and become part of the Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories family, right? I spoke to Mark, or texted Mark yesterday, Mark DeMeo, and he's in Las Vegas. His pod arrived. He's getting settled in. What a change of life, right? Stars above. Hey, Bill. What a change of life. New York to Vegas must be hot all the time, right? I would think. But, you know, the life in New York, at least the metropolitan area in New York City, it's such a fast life. And it's stressful. It's really stressful, you know. One of the things I like the best about Florida, you can drive to the beach and you just park your car. There's no parking. There's no waiting. There's a spot for your car. It's unbelievable, you know. In New York, everything is, oh, that'll be $15 to park. Oh, the parking lot's full. Wait an hour to 2 till it empties, you know. It's crazy, you know. After a while, you like accept it rather than say, you know, let me get the hell out of here. Let me move somewhere else where it's not so crowded, you know. And I grew up, I was a Long Island boy, and I know Lieutenant Pete and Richella, you guys love Long Island. I love Long Island too, but it's so crowded. That Long Island Expressway, it should be called the Long Island parking lot, because it's always backed up like you would not believe. Gayla Dennison, my skin shrivels up in Vegas. Is that from the hot sun? Magical Mary, we finally have some sun this morning, been gloomy and rainy all week. Wow. Weather really has an effect on you too, you know. Like when it's sunny out, I think you feel better. When it's nice out as compared to when it's rainy and gloomy. I remember when I went to college in Buffalo, back in, I don't know, 78, 79. It was always like cloudy or some type of precipitation in Buffalo. But the people in Buffalo love Buffalo. They love, and they're great people. The people in Buffalo, you saw how they supported the Buffalo Bills, right? It's a great city, but weather-wise, it's not. The greatest weather probably in this country is San Diego. Unbelievable weather. Almost every day is beautiful, you know. You get up in the morning, sometimes it's cloudy and rainy, and and an hour later, the sun comes out, and it's that way for the rest of the day. Just a beautiful, beautiful place to live. I think it's really expensive to live. Any place in California is expensive. But yeah, just a gorgeous, gorgeous place to live. Michael Kovacs needs some time in the hot tub. Yeah, that's more likely. I like the hot tub. I don't like the ice cold tub, laying or Wim Hofing, jump into a lake or an ocean that's, you know, that's 32 degrees and you're like, and it's therapeutic. It's going to make your brain and your body work better. I don't know. I'll take the hot tub, just like you said, for sure, right? So, so has anyone, Gayla Dennison, my roses are blooming in California. Hi everyone from Vancouver, so glad to have caught alive. KH Walker, good to see you. Did you say hello to my buddy James Burns, the blues musician? When you get a chance, if you see he's out playing somewhere and you're there, tell him I said hello. Cheryl, good to see you. Peter Pranzo, nice to see you. KH Walker, you guys are all, I like that about our chat. All you guys are like friends, and you become like friends to each other just from the chat. That's pretty amazing, you know. It's pretty cool, I think, you know. And I guess Duty Ron's is a lot like that too, and Duty Ron's got a lot more subscribers than I do. And a lot of you guys came over to this show from Duty Ron. KH Walker, I have met Jim Burns. I am a big fan. I am too. I call him Jimbo. He's really a good actor too. I don't know if he acts much anymore. I know he still plays the guitar and sings. He's got that great bluesy voice. Yeah, he's great guy. Magical Mary, lots of great people on here, that's for sure. That's 124 in the chat, 107 with the thumbs up. I thought I would have a lot bigger audience today since I haven't been on in a few days, but popularity jumps up, jumps down, jumps up, jumps down. Cold weather keeps people in the house. I'm making all kinds of excuses. It's okay. It's great to be here today. So, so apparently there's not a great deal of interest for some reason in the Alec Murdaugh case. I almost said Alec Baldwin because there's another case that's coming up. He was formally charged the other day. And then they have hearings, I think probable cause hearings, and then it's determined whether or not the case will go to trial. That case seemed a little fugazi in how it was handled by Alec Baldwin too. He did that little tour of all the TV stations. KH Walker, I've been watching every minute of Alec Murdaugh. They're on a break right now. Okay, good. Then you can report back to us what's going on. You know how when it first happened with Alec Baldwin, I'm talking about the Rust movie set shooting. He was on every news program talking about how he had no culpability, he had no responsibility. It wasn't his fault. It was someone's fault, but he didn't know whose fault it was. I mean, that was the worst thing he could have ever done. I mean, that's why lawyers tell you to shut your mouth. Shut up. Stay off TV. Don't go on there trying to do like a infomercial about your innocence. Because if it did anything, it really, to most people, and not that it matters, we're the court of public opinion. We're not on the court, right? We're not in the jury. But to most people, by him doing that, just said to us, look how arrogant this guy is. Look how he thinks the world or the sun rises and sets with him. He would have been much better off. He would have just shut up. Part two of that is how the civil case was settled before the criminal case. Apparently, he settled for millions of dollars with Helena Hutchins' husband. And they didn't name the amount, but he settled with him and also gave him producer credits on this stupid movie Rust in lieu of him suing and taking it to the civil case to trial. I don't get that, I don't get that. Like, usually, the case is settled after it goes to civil court, but usually the criminal case happens first. And then the civil case picks up where the criminal case left off. This didn't make sense on how this occurred, but weird, and then when the district attorney in New Mexico came up with the charge charge is, because he's charged with 2 different counts of manslaughter, to him and Hannah Gutierrez Reed, who was the armorer. They're both facing trial in this matter. Well, they first have to go through all the probable cause hearings. I stopped going to range and ended a friendship over basic firearm safety. Crypto Man 5006. Well, you know something, we have as police officers, as retired police officers, we have something that was passed by President George Bush, the younger George Bush, and that's something called HR 218, and that's a federal law where if you qualify once a year, and on the strength of you being retired law enforcement, you get a gun permit issued every year. As long as you qualify and stay out of trouble, you get your gun permit, and you can carry your firearm in any state in the United States. And that's called HR 218. And as other states and other localities, Michael Kovacs, whoever presents the best story wins. Well, not necessarily, but you know, he's got to have to fight this. And Hannah Gutierrez Reed, she also is going to have to get an attorney and fight this, you know. Crypto Man 5000, it's a good law. I assume you're referring to HR 218. Yes, I think it's a great law because, you know, even New York City, for retired police officers, is giving them a hard time in renewing their gun permit. Oh, thank you for your service, 20 years, 25 years, 27, 30 years, and now we're going to bust your balls on reissuing your carry permit. That's really great, but New York City's doing that, apparently, from what I hear from guys. Luckily, I don't live in New York City, so my gun permit is issued from Westchester, and then now I get HR 218, so take them both out of the equation, you know, and it's not right. You know, you serve as a police officer for 20 odd years and you want to renew your gun permit, you clean record, you go for training, Magical Mary, the armorer's career is gone. You know, Magical Mary, I don't think she had the qualifications to do that job. She did one other film, and apparently was with Nicolas Cage, and he had a huge problem with her. Actually, he yelled at her because she was doing something that he deemed to be quite unsafe on the set of the film that he was on with her. So I wanted to hear your opinion on BK Defense reply to discovery request. You know, I saw something where they said they weren't going to produce any evidence, they weren't going to produce any documents, any books, any this, any that. Look, a lot of defense, it's strategy. It's strategy. They want to know something awful, what the prosecution has. And you can bet your bottom dollar the prosecution has DNA. I believe they have Brian Koberger's blood DNA. And it hasn't been announced yet, but I believe they do. I just cannot believe that an attack of this nature, where 4 people were murdered, that he did not cut himself with that K-bar knife. I believe his blood is in the crime scene. And they're holding that. They haven't released that yet. Have we got the autopsy results back yet? We haven't, right? That's probably when this information is going to come back. Look, we have to wait because they gave the defense 6 months. The defense does not have to come back till June 26th for scheduled 5 days of hearings. 5 days of hearings. And they waived the speedy trial. They waived the speedy trial so that they could prepare. I feel that strong wind. I hope it's not destroying the sound, but I hear it. So yeah, so Magical Mary, I hope he left his DNA under the victim's nails. You know something? They fought back, you know. So there's a good chance. And again, there's also a huge chance that Brian Koberger left his blood DNA on the scene. And I think there's a huge chance to that. And We'll find out soon. Look, we just have to wait. And many of us are impatient because that's the nature of us. We're impatient. These days in this 21st century, we want instant gratification, don't we? We want to be gratified. We want to know what's going on. We want to call the shots. We want them to tell us. We want to show the videotape, you know? So it's crazy, but that's the way it is. Phil Leo, good to see you, buddy. Pauline Buckles, I'm just thrilled they got their suspect. 133 in the chat, 133 thumbs up. Sergeant Canazan tells reply to prosecutor says on what evidence defense can produce to clear BK normal. Yes, it's normal. As I said, the defense, their response is usually strategic in nature, you know. The prosecution, it's their job to prove that Brian Kohberger is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Defense doesn't have to prove him innocent or guilty. The defense has to create doubt. That's all they're doing. So much of what the defense does is, Lovebug, good to see you, Lovebug 53. So much of what the defense does is strategic in nature. It's strategy. So keep that in mind when the defense does things that you don't totally understand. And to tell you the truth and to be honest as all hell, I like to stay in my lane. And I'm not an attorney, all right? So I would defer to our attorney experts that we bring on. I see a lot of times these talking heads, they go way outside their lane. They're experts in one area and they're talking about everything but the area that they're an expert in. So I try to stay in my lane, and again, I'm not by any means an expert in the law as it pertains to the defense of a client, or even the criminal procedure law as it relates to the state of Idaho. I am not. Willis Pony, Supreme Commander, good to see you. Lula Marak, Professor Geary and Detective Grimaldi both agree the killer most likely cut himself. You know who our biggest expert that said there's a 99% chance he cut himself? Barbara Butcher. And when Barbara Butcher talks, like E.F. Hutton, people listen, all right? And Barbara Butcher said she believed there was a 99.9% chance that the killer cut himself. That's good enough for me. Barbara Butcher, the retired chief of staff of the office of the New York City chief medical examiner. So if she says that, that's good enough for me, Barbara. And if you're watching, Barbara, I give you love and respect. Yeah, isn't she the best, Barbara? I just spoke to her the other day. She wanted to know what shows she was on of mine, because she's going to credit me in her book. Isn't that nice? She's always thinking. And Duty Ron. She's been on, I don't know how many episodes of Duty Ron, but less of mine. And I introduced her to Duty Ron. But that's okay. That's okay. Hey, Bill, don't you see everyone's texts? Yeah, I'm seeing everyone's texts. I can't mention every single one of them, especially when I'm talking. Rich Borgia, good to see you. Rick Borgia, missed you guys. And we're going to be on again tonight at 7, Rick. You know, sometimes you got to you can't just, when there's a lull in the news, you can't just go on the air just because people expect you to go on the air, not talk about anything that's pertinent to the case or important. You know, you can always make up stuff or sensationalize stuff, but that's not what we do. We're not the sensational podcast. We try to be the reasonable and the facts podcast. This is entertainment though also, right? Magical Mary used to sing, well, I see trees are green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the cold dark day, the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies crying, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I know that was my wedding song. So, and you know something? The first time I ever heard that song was in the movie Good Morning Vietnam with Robin Williams, the late great Robin Williams. And that was it's sung by Louis Armstrong, Satchmo. And he owns that song. What a beautiful, beautiful song. And yeah, what a wonderful world. Crazy, crazy. You know, there was a tune years ago and the first time I ever heard it, it was The Way You Look Tonight. And it was sung on a Michelob commercial years ago by Frank Sinatra. And I was like, wow, what a cool tune. And he sang it like a swing tune. You know, someday when I'm awfully low, when the world is cold, I will feel a glow just thinking of you and the way you look. Lovely, with your smile so warm and your cheek so soft, there is nothing for me but to love you just the way you look tonight. Anyway, that was the first time I ever heard that tune, and it was Frank Sinatra. He sang some great Willis Pony. I love that tune too, man. But there's two different ways you could sing it, like a swing, or you could sing it real slow. You know, like someday when I'm awfully low, when the world is cold. That's the slow version. Or you could sing it like the swing. Someday when I'm awfully low, when the world is cold, I will feel a glow just thinking of you. Anyway, there's two different ways to sing it, and Sinatra owns that song. He sang that amazingly, you know. KH, I don't hit every note perfectly. I wish I did, but yeah, I have pretty good. I have a pretty good, you know, pitch. Not perfect, no, by no means perfect. But sometimes they say perfect pitch is a blessing and a curse, because not all music can be in that perfect pitch. And when someone with perfect pitch hears something is a little bit off, they just can't deal with it. They freak out, you know. So, but in the same vein, they can hear everything, you know. Be true. Good to see you, Be True. Your singing puts a smile on my face. Lovebug53, thank you so much. You know, as I tell people, sometimes people will tune into this show. Yeah, some people tune into the show and they go, oh, this isn't about the cases. I tell people, Coffee with Cannon, Backyard Beverage, Bitching with Bill, whatever you want to call this show, it's a little different than Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories. I like to interact more with the audience. It's not a straight out, let's cover the cases. You know, it's a straight out, you know, let's have some fun and let's interact. And you know, people, if they don't like that, they can tune in just to Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories. But it's good to have, you know, two different types of shows. It also, yeah, Lovebug53. It's fun for me too, you know. I like to keep hearing these things falling out of trees and hitting the table here, but that's okay. Yeah, so it's fun for me, and I do this for fun too. I like doing it, you know. Lou Lamorocco, The Big Chill. I remember that movie. That was, wow, that's a long time ago, man. Real long time ago. Fuzzy Dare. Be True. You're a great singer. I watch by TV, so I'm not chatting much. I hope everyone is having a great Friday and a great weekend. Yeah, it's, I mean, it's amazing. When you're in like really nice weather and stuff, and you're not working a specific job, you sometimes forget like what day it is, because it doesn't matter. And then today's Friday. I'm like, oh, it's Friday, you know. I'm doing an episode of New York Homicide. And I'm shooting it on Tuesday in Fort Lauderdale, and that should be fun, you know. So Marilyn Minette, Alec Baldwin was responsible. He was the last one holding a gun. He should have checked it before he pointed. Plus, you're absolutely right. Poker 26. Yeah, so I got to drive down to Fort Lauderdale. Not that far, about an hour, 10 hour and 15 minutes. Magical Mary, now that I'm retired, I forget the day of the week. Like, it doesn't matter that much, right? It's not like you got to punch a clock. When you punch a clock, you got to know every day, every time, everything about it, right? But anyway, guys, I'm at like 45 minutes. I just wanted to come on and say hello. We haven't been around for a couple of days. Oh my God, that's so awesome. Is New York Homicide? Yeah, it's on the Oxygen Network, and they do recreations of homicides. So they asked me for a case months ago, and they're finally getting around to do it, and they wanted me to fly home to New York, and I said no. I said I'll do it down here. So they accommodated me, and I just got to drive to Fort Lauderdale. So that's cool. You know, it should be fun. You got to do all different things in life, right? Try different things. Cage Walker. I've done other, you know, if you ever watched The Perfect Murder on Investigation Discovery, I did 6 of those. So, you know, I did some TV in my day. Some of it was acting, some of it was just being like a talking head, you know. But so guys, I want everyone to have a wonderful day. Tune in tonight at 7 o'clock, and I'll see you guys then. Have a great day, and God bless.